Again, good evening. Good evening. I want to welcome you guys. My name is Greg Weaver. I'm the Director of Bands here at Milton High School. See quite a few familiar faces out there, and that is awesome. Thank you for being here tonight for our new band parent meeting. Of course, tonight's meeting is in conjunction with a Milton High School Band Parent Association meeting. And believe it or not, if you've got a child coming to Milton High School Band, you are now a part of the Milton High School Band Parent Association. That's what it's about, being a band parent and so forth. So this is their normal meeting tonight. We're gonna have a very short meeting, and then we're gonna jump right into the information packet that I've got presented. So this time I wanna welcome our new president, Ms. Kelly Hendrickson.
I can yell. Can y'all hear me back there? No, really? I really don't like these. I would like to invite everybody to stand. We're going to start our meeting with a pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I am the new president of the Band Booster Association. We call it the Band Parent Association, also known as Boosters. And I want to introduce the rest of our board. Starting off with me, my name is Kelly Hendrickson. I have been in this organization for approximately 10 years. 3 kids. I have a senior this year. She's a flute player. And I will introduce you to, if you'll stand for me, please, Rhonda. This is Rhonda Harris. She is our first vice president. Rhonda has 3 children in the band this year.
And 2 grandchildren.
Our second vice president is, thank you. He's not here right now. It's Ray Gentry. Our treasurer, Dan Carlson. Debbie Jordan. Our secretary's not here either. Her car broke down. Our assistant secretary is Tamina Rowland. And we have 2 trustees, Lisa Schofield. Again, not here. I don't know what's going on. Again, thanks everybody for coming. I'm going to try to keep this up to my mouth. We're going to start off tonight with talking about Bands on Blackwater. Are you guys all familiar with Bands on Blackwater? Okay, so we have a concession stand that we run at Bands on Blackwater. It makes us a lot of money every week. We sell our world famous shish kebabs. Y'all all know about those, right? Okay. That's our big money maker. So we are down there every week, and we have 3 more events. We have 3 more events for the next 3 Fridays, and then on the 4th of July, we will also be down at Riverfest selling out of our concession stand. We need volunteers. Anytime you want to volunteer, we have a sign up. It's on Charms. You're going to get that information in your new parent information pack, and you probably already received some emails from me or Mr. Weaver that went through that system too. There is an incentive, which you will also get to later on, that will help you, help us volunteer. Let's put it that way. Okay, this is our second vice president. Right Good to see you, right?
Grandma's house on North 40.
But if you just want to come by, Bands on Blackwater, say hello. We're down there. You'll see us. There's only 2 of us selling food down there. It's us and Rover Tees. So we're there, and we always have a line. So any kind of help you want to help us with, that's fantastic. In order for us to sell all the shish kebabs that we do, which is thousands a year, thousands and thousands, we have to make them all. And we make them all by hand. And we have to do meat stickings where we cut all the meat up, stick it on the sticks, marinate it, all that good stuff. And we have a couple of meat stickings that are going to be coming up. If anybody would like to help us do that, that's all also part of your incentive plan, which will be in that pack. Talking about incentives later on, you'll understand it. On June 16th and 18th. And I'll send some more information out over email about that. Again, Riverfest, we need lots of volunteers. What did we come up with? We needed 8 to 24 volunteers that day. Throughout the day, we'll need approximately 24 volunteers. That's cooking, selling stuff out of our concession stand, even just wrapping the shish kebabs in tinfoil. It's a lot of fun. Yeah. We have 3 shifts. They're throughout the day, and you'll see them on Charms when you go into Charms and you start figuring out how Charms works. That's all the accounting stuff and everything is in there. So then I'm going to let Mr. Peach, who was our previous treasurer, give us a financial report and tell you how we're doing on our money.
Good evening. We have 2 financial reports. If you didn't get one and you're interested, they're right up here. One is for April, and then, one is for May. One is for May, and then the other one is an annual report. Our year runs from June 1st through May 31st. So we just did one so we could see how much money we made and spent and where it all went for the year. For the May report, we had 4 concession events with Bands on the Blackwater. All did very well, and then we sold water at graduation, which also brought in a good amount of money. Total that we brought in was $4,692.50. And then you can see our expenses for the month. The big one is instructor fees. The Milton Band Parent Association pays for the percussion instructor and the color guard instructor's fees each month. So that's $1,200 a month that we have to raise to help the band. You can see our current balances at the bottom. These were as of June 8th. Our general operating account had $5,385.72 in it. We have a separate account. We have to pay tax on the concessions that we sell. So that money goes into a tax account. We really don't count that, but we recognize it. And then we have a savings account, which is money that we've raised for instruments for the band. To date, we've donated $10,220 for band instruments. That was last year in 2014, and then this is money that we have earmarked set aside for new instruments for the incoming band as well. And then Mr. Weaver will probably tell you about that. And then we have cash on hand for our change fund, $350. So that's a total of $13,747. We have the bank right now. And if you look, I won't get into the details of the annual report, but just wanted to look at what we did for the year as a volunteer organization. We brought in sales and other fees that we charged for different events. $55,000 is the amount of money that we brought in, and then you can see the various expenses. Cost money to sell the shish kebabs and the other concessions, but we pay for things like band uniforms, some equipment for the Band Parent Association, licenses and subscriptions. We've fed the band a couple times. We have other expenses just doing business. We also pay out 2 student scholarships a year, $750 each, so that's $1,500. And then instructor fees is the bulk of what we pay out, $14,400 for that. So you can see we don't have a whole lot after that $55,000 we brought in, but we were able to raise the money for the instruments. And that's about it. Does anybody have any questions? Looking through this? Thank you.
I'd like to tell everybody that we raised $55,000 last year, and it takes a lot of time and effort and volunteers. And had we not raised all this money, band fees would be way more than they are in that new parent information kit that you have. $200 to $300 for each student more. So that's why we do what we do. Okay. So if you can volunteer, that's a big help for us. Where are we going to next?
We'll
wait for our time.
You gonna wait for that? Do you want to talk about anything?
Great band banquet, great band trip, let's move on.
Perfect, we want to make this quick. We have some new business. You know what? All of us on this board right here have been right where you're at as a new parent. That information that you have, it's a lot coming towards you, and you're looking at it going, oh my gosh, there's so many expenses involved. And it's not as bad as you think it is, and we try to help every little bit that we can. So this year, because it's a little more expensive, we're going to try to plan some events to help you raise money to help with your band fees. And the first thing we're going to do is have a garage sale in the cafeteria. So everybody can bring their stuff to the cafeteria. We will have somebody there that will collect the money at the end, so you don't spend it when you go home, and you can put it right into your child's band account. I'm kind of excited for this. Last time we did it, excuse me, I made like $150, and it went right into my kid's band account. So it was a big help. We'll send out some more information on that later, but put that on your calendars. It'll be in the cafeteria because it's hot outside right now. August 1st is when we'll do it. And we'll be able to set up in the cafeteria on Friday night. So you can bring your stuff, leave it, come back the next morning, not have to be there at 6 a.m. waiting for people to bang down the door. I have on here golf cart repairs because we have a golf cart that we use for just about everything, and our batteries melted in it last year. Batteries are $150 a piece. So we were going to vote on it tonight to see if we should replace it or just let it go. And we had something really exciting happen today. Mr. Bill Roby, who owns Bill's RVs over off of Highway 90 in East Milton, called Interstate Batteries, and they have agreed to donate 3 batteries to us, and Mr. Roby's going to donate the other 2. So that's $700 we're not going to have to pay for. So promote Interstate Batteries and Bill's RV if you can. That would be fantastic. I also put on here, oh yeah. We have uniforms, he talked about it, that was part of our thing of raising money, it was in our budget, and that's another thing that we do to raise money for the uniforms, but we don't know how many we're going to have to buy this year because we're still band students. We have a lot, we've gone from 180 to over 200, so a lot of uniforms we'll have to buy this year that we're going to help pay for. As far as old people that have been here, older members, we've had some, and maybe some new members can help us out with this. Y'all know where our concession stand is? Over on the visitor side of the football field. So we have been having some issues with break-ins. Last year we had 1 or 2 break-ins. They come in, they take all of our supplies, we have to go replace them. The other night police were called, the neighbors across the street called and said that there were some rowdy kids over there. It doesn't look like they broke into our place, but it is definitely going to be a concern again this year. So if anybody has any solutions, knows anybody that knows something about security, any kind of help, let us know. We're going to try to get something in it. I'm sorry?
I own a security company, I'll take care of it.
Woo! See you later. And that's about it. You know, you guys, anybody have any questions? This board is here for you. We will answer any questions that you have. There's going to be lots of them. And we're here to help you. And you feel free to call us. Our numbers are in the new parent handbook, our emails, text us, whatever you need. We are here for you. Okay? Any questions from anybody? Sweet. This was really quick. I just need a motion to adjourn. And then I need a second. And we're done. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Army.
Wow,
Now.
that was quick, I
One
give
more
it.
thing. Can I do one more thing? He talks a lot.
Got a lot to go.
He's got a lot to cover. So in case your blood sugar starts to fall a little bit, we brought some cookies. And so when your eyes roll back in your head, help yourself in these cookies. And there's water in the cooler too. So please feel free to help yourself. Thank you.
All right, thank you again for our Band Parent Association. Guys, thank you for being here tonight. You're here because your child is getting ready to take a huge step and become a member of the Milton High School Band Program. And I'm going to tell you, it is a very worthwhile activity. And I hope you're going to find that out. As you can see, and as you heard Ms. Hendrickson mention earlier, our program is growing and growing and growing. My name is Gray Weaver. I have been here for 22 years. After having graduated from Milton High School back in 1987, I came back in the fall of '94. When my band director retired, and that had been my dream job, was to come back home to Milton High School when I retired. And started in the fall of 1994, and for the past 21 years, have watched this band program grow from 78 to, as you're gonna hear, a little bit over 200 this year. Matter of fact, we're taking about another 20-member increase this year. The band room was equipped for 175 when we built it about 7 or 8 years ago. So it's kind of like herding cats around here, but we're gonna get it done. But guys, we've got a lot of information that I'm gonna cover tonight. Probably some of it, at the end, you're gonna go, what? And that's fine. Our communication lines are always open. We're here to answer questions along with our band parent associations. So if there's something you don't understand, catch me or Mr. Schultz afterwards. And so forth. As I shared with you, I'll make some introductions here. I graduated in 1987, went off to Southern Miss for 5 years, taught for 2 years as an assistant director outside Madison, or in Madison, Mississippi, right outside Jackson, before my band director retired, and I came home and I'm serving as starting my 22nd year here, and also serve as the instrumental coordinator for all the Santa Rosa County middle school and high school bands. I just took on that role this past year. The gentleman that you see right over here is one of the hardest working assistant band directors in the business. This is Mr. Michael Schultz. I'm letting him tell you a little bit about himself.
Sucking up won't get you on the platform, I'm sorry. Guys, my name is Michael Schultz. I'm going to my 6th year of teaching here. I graduated from Tate High School. Tate High School in 2003. And then I went to Southern Miss for several years. I'm not going to go into the math on that, but I was there. I graduated in 2010. Played tuba. Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Us Southern to the top.
Yeah, to the top, right, okay. Indeed, I enjoy working here. I also enjoy long walks on the beach. I am single, so if you know any women that like band directors, let me know. So, in all seriousness, guys, this place has been a home for me 4 or 5 years, going on 6 years, and I can't think of a better place in the world to be a part of. Milton High School really is a big family, big family, and we like to preach that a lot, because we are the biggest family at Milton High School on the campus. So if y'all ever have any need, I am always here for you and for anything. So please don't hesitate to call to get in contact with me.
And he's always here.
Always.
A little bit about our program as well before I introduce a couple other staff members. We now have 3 concert bands. Over the last 3 years, we've had 3 concert bands. Of course, the biggest group, the marching band, jazz band, indoor color guard, indoor percussion. And then we have various pep bands and ensembles and so forth for little special occasions. Another gentleman I want to introduce to you is John Whitten, our percussion director. John is starting his 22nd year as well here at Milton High School, my first year, and as I see some of our former students sitting in the audience here. John came up that first year when I came to Milton in the fall of '94 and said, "Your drum line needs some help." And Ruben, you were in it. And I said, "You reckon?" And he started with us. He graduated in 1987, the same year I did, but from Pace High School. We won't hold that against him. But he's been here for starting his 22nd year, so you'll see that he does a wonderful job with our young folks that are involved in the indoor drum line. We've asked him to step in so we can introduce him, but all the thumping and clicking and all that you hear outside is not thunder, it is our drum line and drum count this week. So thank you, John, for the hard work you do for us, all right? The gentleman that's no stranger, he's been on our color guard staff as a tech, but is taking over as color guard director, Mr. Jesse Joseph in the back right back here. And Jesse graduated from Bar High School in 2008. And was on staff, left for a while, and came back last year, and we're welcoming him. So color guard parents, Mr. Joseph is back there, and he'll be sharing information with you guys through the band handbook. And if you've got questions for any of us, we'll be available afterwards, okay? Moving on down on the program, somebody else important on this, forgot. The lady sitting over here by the fish tank is Jan Weaver. Yes, that's my wife. She's a business teacher here on campus, and she's been starting her 22nd year. But the coolest thing about her being a business teacher is that Gray Weaver, and I speak in third person, doesn't have to deal with a lot of the money. All the deposits, everything, fundraiser usually goes through her being the business teacher, and she keeps all the financial records and charms, and it helps to pay the bills and so forth. So if you hear me refer to Miss Weaver, our band bookkeeper, it's Miss Weaver over here, and then she turns things in to Nancy Foster, our school bookkeeper. But all the money that we deal with students and fundraising all goes through Milton High School. And it's just a ton of paperwork and paper trails they have to follow, and she's responsible for that. So looking at number 2, you heard from the Milton High School Band Parent Association. You're looking at your new band parent information agenda. Again, let me remind you, you're part of the Milton High School Band Parent Association. It used to be called Band Boosters, but we had a hard time. Most parents thought, well, I'm not a member of the Boosters. But if you're a band parent, you are. You are part of the Band Parent Association. So we went through a name change about 5 years ago, if I remember right. Of course, their monthly meetings take place the second Tuesday of every month, right here in the band room, unless we've got rehearsal or something and it rains, in which case sometimes we'll move to the auditorium. But please be active with the Milton High School Band Parent Association. As Kelly shared with you earlier, without that group, $50,000 to $60,000 to $70,000 a year would not be raised. And guys, we don't get a lot of financial support at all from the county. I'm working on that as the instrumental coordinator, but our school gets about $8,000 to purchase new instruments and for instrument repair per year. To give you an example, one sousaphone, one of those big tubas, cost us about $6,500 to purchase one instrument. So you can see that there's a great need. Every once in a while, for example, we can see up here the superintendent gave each band last year. We were really out, was trying to find money for the band for instruments because we'd grown tremendously. He had matched us with $20,000, and that's what the boosters were raising. The money they've got there is a matching funds for the high school bands that the superintendent came up with. Moving on, Firehouse Sub Spirit Nights, second Thursday, is that correct? Did I have that? Will be this Thursday, matter of fact. We have one way to help the Band Parent Association is Firehouse Sub Spirit Nights. You go in, you can stay and eat, you get it to go, but if you'll simply take your receipt, they'll have a box up by the register, you stick it in the box, and we get a certain percentage of that, okay? 15% of that. So a lot of times I like to go in and just sit and eat and visit with folks. So me and Mr. Schultz and several of us. Now, we're not doing that in July and August, is that correct? Because we're going to be in rehearsal up here. So, but we'll do that this Thursday. So if you're looking for somewhere to eat, we encourage you to come help the Band Parent Association out by that. Also, notice Ronnie's Car Wash. We have a $10, if you go in, you get the $10 car wash, and it says fundraiser car wash. You type in the code 5070, we get $4 for every wash. So that helps our Band Parent Association out. Our Band Parent Association, Ms. Weaver, and along with the booster officers, every time that we have parents that volunteer, whether it's on the money raising side of things or the chaperoning side of things, we have the folks sign in and sign out, and we document the hours. This past year, we documented with the band trip over 10,000 volunteer hours from Milton High School. That's a lot of volunteering, okay? So yeah, give it up to the Band Parent Association. So we need your help with that. You see the Volunteer Incentive Program. What is that? You're probably asking. I'm going to go over the budget and the band fees and all a little bit later, but we developed this last year and I think it's very successful. You can actually knock $100 off of your band fee, okay, off the amount that each student, each member has to pay by volunteering at 3 events during the year. Of course, we'd love for you to volunteer for more than 3. But 2 of those money-making events, such as concessions, shish kebab sales, Bands of Blackwater, Riverfest, 2 of those have got to be a money-making event. The 3rd one can be what I call a social event, chaperoning, that kind of stuff. We'll chop $100 off your fee, okay? Because what that does, when those money-making events, again, help to lower our band fees. Now, we got some folks who go, I'm not volunteering, it's $100 extra, okay? So, but don't be those kind of folks. I'm telling you, I hang out with this group a lot. They have a great time. Just like the kids or our family, the Band Parent Association develops those family bonds too. A few years ago, they even started a dinner club. They would go out to dinner once a week, a group of them would. So I will encourage you to take advantage of that, and we'll cover that a little bit later on. There's a volunteer form at the back of the handbook as well, and that's where we're trying to find our resources, such as the gentleman that talked about owning a security company. That's good to know, and you can get us the in on what we can do to make that concession stand safer. We want to know where your talents are, as mom, dad, grandparents, because again, it's tough. It's tough making money, and anything that we can do to help save money, anything that we can tap into folks' talents, we want to be able to do that. All right, you'll see that at the back of your packet there. But please understand the importance of the Milton High School Band Parent Association. We did not have that group. Fees would be about $300 more per year. All right, moving on to item 3. Ms. Schultz will tell us about this year's marching band. The marching band is the most public group that we have.
And what a big band we have this year. It's been really cool the past 3 4 years maybe, we've been breaking records each year with the membership that we have, with the amount. This year is no different. We broke the 200 mark, and we have about 205, maybe a little bit more than that, 205 total members of the Mighty Black and Gold. So that is awesome. With that has come several things that we've had to kind of work around. Case in point, the lockers. I think we only have 175 lockers. So something that we're just working with. But the students have been really cool with offering to share lockers and whatnot. And of course, instruments. Instruments are always needed. And we'll pretty soon we're going to start making lists of what we need instrument-wise to start filling the numbers that we have. But these are all wonderfully good problems to have. It's, like I said, we're the biggest organization, biggest family on this campus. So, yeah, we're the most visible with the marching band. This year's show, we are paying homage to the centennial of Milton High School. Milton High School was founded in August of 1915. And this year we are paying tribute to that centennial. We are doing a 100th anniversary show. Now, we got to tell you, it's been one of the harder shows for me at least to try and come up with music for, because we thought about doing music from each decade to represent that, and it just doesn't work. We don't like to be, we always use corny as the word. We don't like to be corny with the show. We want the shows to be upbeat. We want people to get involved. We want the students especially to enjoy performing it. So we've taken some tunes and spliced them together. We're going to have a storyline to kind of tell the story of Milton High School, starting with the song from, I forget the person that sings it, but it's called I'm Coming Home. And that goes right into the theme to the Wrath of Khan, Star Trek The Wrath of Khan, which makes no sense that we would do that for Milton High School, but the music, if you hear the music and when you hear the music, you'll understand, wow, that actually sounds really, really cool. And we always go for that wow factor. We're going to be singing a lot in the show. In fact, there's a point in this where we're going to actually sing our alma mater in harmony to everybody every Friday night and some Saturdays. And then we're going to go right into, because we're doing telling the story of Milton, the history, a little bits of history, and then what's next is, well, we don't know what's next. What's in it for the next? What does Milton High School have for the next 100 years? And that's why we're going to be playing the theme to Back to the Future. We're going to be kind of going in the future, and with that, we really want the band to sparkle this year. So we're going to try and have LED lights attached to them and come on and to add that wow effect. You saw our show last year. We had that flyover that came over. The year before that, we had a little dance number with these with flags that were hidden, different colored flags that were hidden, along with the Tanko drums, or big pickle barrels is what they were up front that we hid with. So we like the wow factor. We want the audience to get involved with it. We definitely want y'all, and we want the students to all dig it. So whenever we get it all in the field, at least part of it for the preview show, which you'll see at the end of July, it should be really, really cool. So that's what we're doing with the marching band. You can see all of our red faces. We've been working hard. I didn't know if you want me to talk about that part. Yeah, we've been working hard the past 2 days. I've been really impressed with all the rookies coming in with their stamina and their go-get-itness. That's a word, yes. So, I'll make it work. So, yeah, so we got 2 more days left of this week, and I just can't wait to start getting us all together and getting the show on the field. So, it'll be a great year.
Thank you, Michelle. All right, guys. Thank you, Michelle. Why is there only like 20 people? Everybody's hands full, right? That's what guys, if you look at the band handbook, this is the bulk of what our meeting's about. This handbook, 32 pages long, makes for great bedtime reading material. Okay? Senator Candace kind of got that philosophy, cover yourself. Okay, cover yourself. And that's what it does. I'm going to hit the high points. I'm not going to read a lot from it, but I'm going to kind of hit the high points that I think you as a new parent, that I want to make sure that you're aware of. So you'll see the front cover. If you'll flip the page open, look in the inside cover, that's simply just a welcome letter that talks about what our band program does, over 50 performances per year, and so forth. If you look at page 3 right there, you'll see that is understand that band is a co-curricular subject. What that means is that we have class during the day where we work on the next performance, and then we have stuff that takes place after school. It's all tied together, okay? So what happens after school can affect their grade just as much as what happens during school. They skip a football game, that will affect their grade. They skip a rehearsal, that can affect the grade if it's not taken care of the right way. Okay, that's what that co-curricular means. Pretty much, I will say this, we're concerning the school grade, as far as their band grade. If they're here for everything and they communicate, they do fine. Most of our students all make high A's in band. Every once in a while, you'll have the one that doesn't communicate very well, that misses things, and they'll end up with a C or a D. But as long as they're here and doing what they're supposed to do, they usually have no problems with that. Notice on the bottom of page 3, rehearsal and performance attendance policy. Of course, we have excused absences from rehearsals, performances. Those include sickness, if they're fevering, if they're throwing up, if they're contagious, please don't bring them up here with the other 200 plus students. Okay? Death in the family, of course, we know there's crisis type circumstances that happen. And we know so-and-so just got rushed to the hospital, my grandmother, we gotta go. We work with folks on that, okay? We're going shopping, it's my best friend's birthday, there's a concert at the Civic Center, we don't work with those types of things. All right, so what we do ask, if the student's gonna miss, all right, for some reason rehearsal or performance, that they notify us in advance, either call the band room, we have an answer machine in there, an email works, okay? Or call our cell phones, text us, let us know. The worst thing that can happen is we take the field, we've got 205 plus students with 5 or 10 that are alternates, and we can't find Susie. Where's Susie? Wonder where Susie's at? Susie's not here. We got a performance this week, okay? If we don't know where Susie's at, we're gonna find somebody to plug into Susie's spot. So make sure that you communicate with us, call us, text us, email us, because we got all that technology resource, and let us know. Now, once they return, okay, is that the next on the list, or did I get ahead of myself, Ms. Schultz?
I was supposed to talk.
Here, then come on in, come on in.
No, this is not big.
The only thing I'm gonna say is, once they return, the day they come back, they need to make sure they have a note in hand, either from you or from a doctor, attach it to our absence appeal forms, which is an example of one of those in the very back, right by your medical forms, I think it's printed on the other side of the calendar.
27.
Page 27. You fill that out, we usually have those in the front of our money box, you fill that out, and you put it directly on my desk. At that point, I take that, and I go on in our charm system, which I'm going to show you here shortly, and I will go in there, and if it's a legitimate excuse, I go in there and excuse it. What we do with that, the after-school attendances stuff, all the rehearsal and performance stuff, that ties in, because it's a co-curricular activity, it ties into their grade in the class. So for every rehearsal they miss, it's grades deducted, it's points deducted from the class. For every performance they miss, it's points deducted from the class, unless it's excused. If it's excused, no worries. So I highly encourage you to stay up to date on that. I'm going to show you exactly how you do that, and make sure we get notice of this. Every year it's the same thing. We get to the end of the year, band makeup comes around, people are trying to get their, people are wanting their letters and bar stripes, and they ask, well, why didn't I get a letter bar stripe? Well, you had this rehearsal that you never got excused, or why is my grade this low? Because you never got this rehearsal excused from way back when. If you do it the day you come back, you never have to worry about it for the entire year. It's done. Okay, so make sure you do that the day you get back.
And guys, understand a lot of what we're doing is the same thing you're trying to do at home. We're trying to teach responsibility, self-discipline, and so forth. And you know, any of us, if we just don't show up one day for our job, and we don't call, you know, what the consequences for that are. So that's part of our philosophy, which leads me to the next page. If you'll flip to page 4. I do want you to know what we're about. It took about the first 10 years for me to figure it out. And back, I guess, in the early 2000s, mid-2000s, philosophy statements and mission statements became the big thing to do in education. And this is what we're about. Now, we'll read these because it's important. The first part of our philosophy is we want to develop a high-quality product, in other words, a performance organization, in which all stakeholders can be proud of. Stakeholders are just not the students and the directors, but the parents, the other students in Milton High School, the community can be proud of. And that's extremely important to us. The way we know that and the way we can judge that is through high-energy, entertaining performances. If we go out on Friday night and the crowd's bored, that wants to get a hot dog, we're not doing our job. We're not living up to what our philosophy is. We want to do that through structure and discipline and rehearsals, performances and free time. Now guys, I'm gonna tell you, if you ever come up here before rehearsal or before a performance, it's a circus. You can imagine, it was that way with 186 last year, now with 205 plus. Yeah, I can only imagine what it's gonna be like. It's like herding cats. Okay, so the reason we have the structure in place is to help us to better do the job and to get it done and to get everybody where they need to be. But structure and discipline. Consistency in all the program aspects. We want our 3 concert bands to be great. We want our marching band to be great. We want our color guard, our percussion, our jazz band. And we're constantly pushing to make those organizations better. Good communication with members and parents. We're going to go over some of those communication tools here shortly that we use. And we're still constantly trying to improve our communication with members and parents. Integrity throughout the organization. That's an extremely important word to me, integrity. For 22 years, 21 years, going on 22, I've had nothing to hide as far as our finances are spent, everything. There's nothing to hide. We want to be clear as we can. We want to communicate the best we can and let everybody know this is how we run things. Okay, so if you ever have a question about anything, feel free to ask us and we'll answer it. A sense of belonging and ownership for all stakeholders. We want the kids, every kid, to have a sense of belonging. Every kid. Regardless if they're the best trumpet player in the world or the worst flute player in the world. But we want the parents to have a sense of belonging here. This is your organization as well. Hopefully, you'll invest the next 4 years of you and your child's life in this organization. You'll build friendships and bonds and memories that you'll cherish, okay? The second part is what I mentioned earlier, to instill and reinforce the qualities that's going to help them to be successful in life. I tell them every year at the band banquet with the seniors, it ain't just about the music. It's about everything else, so that when they go out, whether it's going on to college, going to the military, or going to flip burgers at McDonald's, that they do it well. It's those concomitant values, and that's what we're about. That's what's important. Now, when they act up and they act out, we'll call them in and we'll jump on them, and we'll try to redirect them. But those things that help them, integrity, teamwork, self-discipline, responsibility, self-confidence, hard work ethic. Have your rookies come, they're all rookie parents here. Have your rookies come home tired? You know, and listen, I've got one in 9th grade too. And you ask my wife, 9th grade flute player, and we've been talking, is she gonna make it? And my wife texted me yesterday and said, has she quit yet? I said, no, surprisingly not. I really do. I think, you know what? Students today are so much smarter than they were when I went through school in the 80s. They know so much more. And society has changed, but I still think deep down that kids want to have to work hard for something. And that's kind of what we give them here with band programs, that you're going to work hard, and it's that delayed gratification, that you're going to work hard right now, and it's going to pay off at that first performance in July out here, or that first Friday night football game. And that's what we're about here, okay? Number 3, to provide opportunities for members to create memories and relationships they'll cherish for a lifetime. I remember I was going in Milton High School in 1986, I was going to marine biology. Okay, now I can't scuba dive because I gag on a toothbrush every morning. So a snorkel, forget it. But I remember my parents saying, Ray, what do you want to do with your life? And the only thing I remember loving at that point was band. And I told them, I said, I don't know, I just love band. And I still think back and I get together and I look at former students and I think back memories that we had, and that's what we want to do as well, is give them moments in high school that they'll cherish for their lifetime. So when they come back to class reunions, or they're on Facebook 20 years from the day they graduate, that they're cherishing those memories. Hey, remember when the band bus broke down? Yeah, you remember when Mr. Weaver fell off the top of the bleachers? Mr. Schultz had that conniption? Because we marched the wrong way, or whatever. And that's what this is about, okay? High school, I couldn't imagine going through high school without being a member of something. And that's what we always encourage all the 8th grade band students. If you're not going to do band, do something. Because if you don't get involved, you're going to miss the social experience of high school. Okay? You can see on here, moving on down, we got a couple mottos. Work hard, play hard. I think I had that from the first year. I don't remember. Okay? It was those early years. But work hard, play hard. We're going to work hard. And I'm going to tell you, when it's time to play, we're going to play really hard too. Okay, our band lock-in, for example, or you may see us just stop in the middle of rehearsal and go, all right, everybody do the Thriller dance. He puts it over the sound system, and they're all out, you may come by and go, what's the band doing? Okay, but, you know, we want them to live life that way. You work hard, but then when it's time to play, you play hard too. Okay, and image is everything. We will preach to them about image, and we'll preach to them that it takes about 7 or 8 positive things to take away a negative. One person in the stand says a cuss word, and the people sitting next to the band goes, that's their image of the band. It takes 7 to 8 positives to negate the negative that just took place. So we'll talk to them a lot about image is everything. And you'll hear us always referring to the image of the band, or what you're doing, is that helping the image of the band, or is it taking away? That's what we're about. That's our philosophy. That's our mission statement. And that's what we want your kids to come be a part of. If you look on the bottom of page 4, you'll see a list of our staff. We have some other percussion staff. Vincent Dofita's out of the track. Jesse's assisted by Miss Dawn Brinke. And I mentioned Miss Weaver over here. We have a couple other gentlemen, Chuck Hendricks and Bill Roby, that helped with our we're calling band techs or marching techs. We're on the field during band camp. You'll see these folks, and even in the after-school rehearsals once school starts, they're moving around the field helping us to set drill, helping correct the formation and the marching and making things better. Our head chaperone, Tina Byers, also works here on our staff at Milton High School. She couldn't be here, a water pump broke in her van, but she's fixing it. That's what she's doing right now. She fixed it about 30, 40 minutes ago, right before we started. And I said, look, my water pump breaks, I know who to come to. And then our announcer, you'll see, Mr. Everett's been with us starting his 22nd year as well this year. Voice Mighty Like Gold. So, and then you'll see as well, we've got a group of 28 student leaders. And let me tell you this about student leadership, because most of the time, incoming freshmen don't get it. And sometimes parents don't. Why aren't other kids telling my kid what to do? This is number one, it would be hard if it were just me and Mr. Schultz and a handful of staff to corral 200 plus. It's not just that we need their assistance as leaders, it's training for them. They're going to make mistakes. I came through and I was a band officer, and before I knew it, 12 years later, I was the band director. Those first few years I kept going, how did he run this officer corps, this leadership team? But it's a learning experience. And as kids make their way up to their juniors, sometimes they're sophomore, but their junior, senior year, it provides them with experiences. It gives us a chance to what I call divide and conquer. For example, on the field, we'll break up the flute, or we'll break into sectionals, and the flutes will go over here, and the clarinets will go over here, and the saxophones will break up by sections, and the section leaders rehearse the music, or they may work on the marching, okay, or they may plan social activities. But I say this because I want you to understand these student leadership. We go through training with them. We just got done. We got off our band trip last Wednesday night. We had Thursday sort of off, and we left Friday at noon. Had to do a weekend leadership retreat with them, where we went through some training activities with them, and so forth. But they're a great group of kids. They've been selected by their peers from last year's band through that process, through a process of interviewing with me and Mr. Schultz and drum majors and such, through an audition process before a panel of judges. And we count on these student leaders to really make our band shine each year. So you'll see that list. You'll probably hear complaints on your child's section leader. That's a part of it. But understand it's a training process, and in a year or two, your child will have an opportunity to try for the leadership team. Okay? Moving on, you'll see on the next page there, I had given you some contact information. If you look at page 5, some contact information. Me and Mr. Schultz, there's our band room number, our cell phone number, our email. Email is perhaps one of the, especially once school starts, the best way to reach us, because in between classes, we'll pop in, check an email. Cell phones, let me ask you to do this, and we're always available, but please only use those in the event of emergency, especially after band hours. Does that make sense to you? Nothing worse than sitting there eating with a family and, hey, what time does the band have to be there Friday? Really? Really? Okay. So, but if you need to contact us day or night, if it's an emergency type situation, there's our cell phone number, okay? So if you'll help us with that. Ms. Byers, our head chaperone's information is there. The Band Parent Association, you met the officers, or most of them earlier, there's their cell phone numbers, there's their emails. They are available as well to answer questions. And they're chomping at the bit too. We talked about that in their board meeting last time. So that information is there for you. Keep this in a location somewhere, take a picture of it, keep it on your cell phone, or wherever you want to. Speaking of internet and so forth, Mr. Schultz.
Yeah. I got you over here. Okay. Okay.
past 3 years, we've had started several things of information that you can go to, places you can go to get all the information you need. And I'm going to start with this. This is our website, miltonhighschoolband.com. And on here, there's several links that you can get to. You can actually get to our charms, our direct charms access from here, from our home page. What I like to do, I go to this page and I load any kind of email that I send out with a bunch of information on it. I put right here on our home. It's kind of like a blog. I send it out. It goes, and this links directly to our Facebook page, which is Milton High School Mighty Black and Gold Band. If you like us on there, if you've already liked us, you would have seen pictures of Rookie Camp Day 1. You'll probably see pictures of Rookie Camp Day 2 tonight as soon as I can get those uploaded. So if you like that, you'll see all those pictures of the cool weather we've had for the past 2 days. But anyway, that's where I want to start. It's a fun place you can go to explore. I'm not going to go into too much detail about it. We do have a YouTube page, Milton HS Band channel. Milton HS Band channel. On here, every performance that we've done for the past 3 years now is up here on this page. All halftime shows, all competitions. Tonight's meeting is going to be up here. The trip meetings. Spring concert, all of our performances are up here on this channel. So as soon as we are done with a Friday night performance, I have to go home that weekend and I upload it to the internet so y'all can look at it and make fun of it. But students can make fun of each other. Oh, you missed that step right there. Oh, look at that, he fell. Okay, so just those two things I want to start with. But the big thing you need to know about is this right here, charmsoffice.com. Charmsoffice.com is where you have your individual accounts set up. And what you do, this is where you access financial information, how much does my child owe, what absences, what rehearsals or performances did they miss, what's our calendar. This is where you go. And it does have a mobile site. In fact, I think it has a mobile app too that you can get. On this side of things, once you get to this site, you go to the enter login, you go to parent student members, and right here, oh great, this always happens with technology with me. Oh, there we go, okay. Right here, this is where you would type in Milton HS Band, is our code. But if you were to go to our website and click the Charms link here at the bottom, not the bottom, the side right here, the Charms button, right here on the side, it surpasses this part and it gets you directly to this screen right here. At this screen, you have icons on the bottom that I'm going to show you as soon as I get into an account. But this is where you would log into your student's account. Now, the password for your student is all lowercase. It's their last name and their graduation year. Last name and graduation year, all lowercase, all one word. Now, for some instances, if there are two students in the band with the same name, then we use their last name immediately followed by their first initial, immediately followed by their graduation year. Okay? If we had two students that had the same first initial, well then they're just out of luck. No, I'm just kidding. We went in there, we put in their last name, first initial, next letter of their first name, and the graduation year.
So like Smith John would be Smith J.O. and James Smith would be Smith J.A., for example.
Exactly. So I'm going to type in my password right here. So once I get into my individual account, this is what pops up. All these wonderful icons right here. First and foremost is your calendar. You click on that and you can see everything that we've done. In fact, this is our calendar is more or less up to date through next May. So for the entire year, you can go here and see it. Now, what's awesome about Charms is you can sync this calendar to your phones, and a lot of us do that. It is in your handbook, but it's also up there on how to sync your phone, sync this calendar to your iPhone, Android, BlackBerry, if anyone ever uses those anymore, Windows phones and whatnot. It has all that information there, and I'll tell you what's great with that. If anyone ever has a question of me, or if I ever wonder, hey, I wonder what are the hours of that rehearsal that I scheduled on there? I always go to my calendar on my phone and it's right there. I'm the one who usually puts in the dates. I know the color guard puts in all, Jesse puts on their dates, and John puts on their dates for rehearsals and whatnot on there. So I advise you to do it. It is a lot of events that will all of a sudden appear on your everyday calendar, but at least you'll be up to date with it. So it's an instant. This is for any mobile device. I'm gonna go back. We talk about this. Oh, great. Okay. There we go. So I've never used a computer before. Sorry. All right. So you go back to your home page, and so that's the calendar. You can check out the list of events. Kelly up here talked about volunteers. For when we really start getting into the season, you're going to see a whole list of things you can volunteer for: football games, chaperoning, all this stuff. Right now, it's Bands on Blackwater and Riverfest, Independence Day. Which, if you are interested in willing to volunteer for that, go ahead and start working on your hours for the year. Right there, you have 4 events that you can sign up for. You click on one of those, show volunteer needs, and simply fill out the form below. Now, Kelly, correct me if I'm wrong. Do you call them at that point and say, or do y'all call them?
Yeah. If they're on there, we accept.
Okay, if you're on there, if you're on this sign-up list, then you are good to go. They are expecting you, and you will go there, you'll sign in, and you'll get your hours for that day that you do that. Like I said, right now there's only 4 events, but get ready, there's going to be a lot coming. Next thing, we're going to be putting out this handbook on our handouts and our website, so you can explore that. Finances is the big biggie here. If you want to know how much does my student owe, or how much have I paid it, you see that right here. Now, right now it's all zeroed out. We haven't even charged out. I've been good. I've done so many fundraisers. Good Lord, it's been great. Right now, we haven't put in the fair share fees, but we will. We're going to start charging them out. You'll see that on here. And what happens is down here at the bottom, it keeps a running balance of what you have paid and what you've been charged out. You'll see the first charge you'll see on there is fair share. Now, as you put in checks or cash, you'll start seeing minus $20, minus $100, minus $200, and it'll say check. I think we even put the check number down there. Yeah, we put the check number down there, and it shows you that and how much cash and all that. And eventually, it starts subtracting from that 400, and hopefully, it will get you back down to 0. Now, there are. Jan, do we use the trip ledger too?
Yes.
We have the miscellaneous ledger, which is your fair share fees and uniform fees. We have and fundraisers. We have the trip ledger, which will probably be put up there maybe later on this semester or in the spring. Probably later on this semester, actually. And that'll show you if you are planning on going on a trip. Mr. Weaver's going to talk about that later on. How much you paid and how much you owe towards that. Okay, so this screen right here can get a little confusing, but once you really start studying it and looking at it, you can see it. And by all means, if you are confused with what you see, yes, you can call up here, email us, we'll explain it to you perfectly. Okay? One last screen, unless you wanted to say something.
I don't want it. Can everybody hear me? Yeah. Yes. I have to use it.
I'll pay later, trust me.
Now, I put all the information in here. Like Mr. Schultz said, if you pay by check, you'll have your check number in there. It'll have the date that I receipt it. It'll have our receipt number from our bookkeeper. It'll have the check number. If you pay cash, there won't be any, it'll just be left blank and it'll say cash. If they pay cash, they need to make sure they get a receipt from Mr. Weaver or Mr. Schultz before they put it in the box. Because that receipt is proof that you put cash in there. Okay, as far as your checks go, your return check is your receipt. I put it all in there. Now, let me tell you,
I teach 6 business classes a day. Once your child puts it in that box, it's not gonna magically appear in their account. Okay, I've had emails from parents that says my child put their envelope in the box this morning at 8 o'clock and it's 9 o'clock, why isn't it in their account? I'm sorry, it doesn't work that way. I try to get it in, especially in the fall and around band trip time, I get things in as quickly as I can. There may be a delay, but if you haven't seen it in there within a week, please contact us and let us know. It may be in your child's backpack, they may have forgotten to turn it in, or it may have gotten stuck in the box, or something like that. But like I said, please give me about a week, because that's not my first job. My first job is to teach your child. I just try to find time, 20 minutes here, 10 minutes here to get it updated. And I try to keep it as updated as possible. But like I said, I have to do it when I can find time. Can you go back to that? Sure. All right. On the screen, the only thing that you need to worry about is the total balance due. Okay? That's what you owe. We will not use the fixed payments due, and we'll not use the fundraising balance. Okay, we won't use those. The only two ledgers that we're going to use is the trip ledger and the miscellaneous. Every time we'll go out there and charge your fee, and every time you make a deposit, it takes away from that account, or your account balance. When we have a fundraiser, like the cookie dough fundraiser, if you participated in that, the profit will come off that band fee. And I'll put it out there, it'll say cookie dough fundraiser profit, or orange sale fundraiser profit, or whatever we've sold, hams or turbis or whatever. It will always indicate on there what it's for. I don't ever go out there and just leave it blank. There's always some kind of description of what that money's coming off for. Same thing with a charge. If there's a charge to your account, there's always something in the memo telling you what you're being charged for. Okay? And we'll talk, when they talk about fundraisers, you get to keep 100% of the profit. It goes towards your student's account. Sometimes you may have what's called a credit balance, you're in the positive in your miscellaneous. Let's say, for instance, you owe $400 on your trip, but you fundraised enough that you've got $200 left in your miscellaneous. So you should only owe $200. And I have people call, or they'll email me and say, how much do I owe? I don't really understand. That credit can be applied to your trip. So the only thing you need to be concerned about, like I said, is the total amount due. Okay?
That's where it all makes sense. You have 200 credit and the miscellaneous 400 on the trip. It'll tell you that total balance due is 200. Does that make sense?
Because sometimes we'll have parents,
questions, emails.
and sometimes we'll have parents that want to leave that $200 in their miscellaneous because it does carry forward to the next school year. Or they'll say, apply that to my trip. Or they'll take it out and say, I want that money to go to my student as spending money for the trip. So you do have several options. And I know it doesn't make sense right now because there's no dollar amount. But once you start looking at it, we start putting money in there, or start charging things, it will make a little bit more sense.
So, and she does a great job and does the best as she can to keep it all up to date. So, on top of all the other, like she said, she teaches 6 periods out of the day, just like Mr. Weaver and I do. We teach 6 periods out of the day too. And sometimes it's not just band classes. So, so we try our best to keep it as up to date as possible. So, 2 more things with charms. Yes.
You might want to tell them to check their information.
Okay. I mentioned earlier absences. If you want to know what if your child's missed anything, Absence-wise, that's where you go, that's what the icon's for. What I ask for you to do tonight, if at all possible, or at your earliest convenience, is this right here, the student section, student info page. You click that student info page, you click personal information, and right here, you can access all the your information that we have put in. Now, we, at Band Day, way back in May, or March, or April, May, we had them all fill out those little forms. This is why. We took those, and we put those, actually one of Mrs. Weaver's students put those in, and filled out what information we could read.
No, Ms. Weaver put it in.
Miss Weaver, well, thank you. I didn't know that. Thank you, I appreciate that.
And I found out while I was putting those in that they do not teach handwriting in.
It's hard.
It's
As
hard
much
to
as
read.
we preach, make it legible, it's hard. And they're doing it out there on the track too. But anyway, we take that, we put their information in here. Big things right now is email addresses and cell phone numbers. Not just for your student, but for you as well. Because we want to make sure you get the information. You can see where it says add new adult. That's for you. You put that in, you fill that out, you can add all that information in there for us. Now, basically, we do some mailers, however you say that, out. That's where we need your home addresses and everything. But we want to make sure that all of our contact info is completely up to date. House numbers, phone numbers, so we can get in touch with you, say, asking, hey, where's Haley? I've been concerned about her. I haven't seen her in a week. I hope everything's okay. Other things with this, you'll see down here, ask for your cell phone carrier. You can put that in. One of the benefits of this is we can text out information if we want to, but we have another program that Mr. is going to talk about later on that gives you that we send information out to. So, right now, does anyone have questions about charms? I can answer yes. Yeah, how do we link? We can link.
There's a thing where it says add other children,
Yeah.
and you can join them.
Yeah.
But you still gotta put in their pass.
How did we do that?
Well, the icon is here.
Back screen.
Bottom right icon.
Right there, multiple students. Right there. So you put in the school code, you put in their password, you can link the students together. Right?
Yeah.
Um,
And then afterwards, when you do it, you've already done it, established it, their names will automatically pop up. It's like the ones will be up top, and they'll say your other child, you want to switch to that one.
yeah. So did anyone else have a question? Yes.
Have you already got this set up so that we aren't worried about, because I noticed on one of the screens it said this is the first time you're logging in, student ID, and then you change it to the password. But you said the password was their
It's
last
already-
name, their graduation year.
It's already set up for the lesson. You can go in and change your password. Now, if you do change your password, I don't have access to that. That's your thing. All I can do is reset your account to the original password from that point.
So you forget it. So
Yeah, if you forget it, send me an email. It happens all the time, I promise you. So, any other questions? Yes.
We mentioned be able to link like PayPal or debit card payments.
That's county coordinator, that's another battle I'm fighting. The school district finance office still lives in the 80s and 90s. And right now, they're telling me that they won't let us do that. I had that conversation less than a month ago with the finance office. But we fought it about 4 years ago. It has the feature, but all the Santa Rosa High School bands and a lot of middle school bands are on this program, but they still won't let us use that feature. We're still battling, but not right now. But we do have a method, the boosters can accept credit card, the Band Parent Association. So if you want to pay fees on credit cards, we can set that up a lot of times with meetings and so forth. And you pay credit card, they just turn around and write checks.
Yes.
What about the balance in their accounts? In middle school, does it transfer over automatically?
You'd have to ask the middle school director, that's each middle school. That one.
All right. If you do have any more questions about charms, I'll be up here to answer any one of those later on. I do want to get the meeting further going because we do have a lot of information. more information I have to give. Oh, for mine? Oh, okay, well. If you,
It's on the bottom of the wheel.
oh, it is, okay, I'm sorry. If you look at the, find us on the web page, the one that's before the charms, which by the way, you wanna know how to access charms, it's all the information right there on that. But the bottom of the, find us on the web there at the bottom, that's the way we send out text to remind text to everyone in the band. Depending on what group you're in, right now everyone is in the marching band. Everyone is in the marching band. So if you go down there and you text to that, where is it? Right there. Text to that number 850-637-8697. That's your texting to, and then in the message line you put at MHS Band, all one word. MHS March. I'm sorry, MHS March, and you send that off. You will get a text back from Remind saying, thank you for signing up for this so-and-so group. At that point, you send back your name, your full name, first and last, and then now you're in the group. Now, you're not going to get any kind of random text. You're not signing up for any kind of credit card subscription or anything like that, okay? All we do with this, we send out reminders, hey, this rehearsal, we had to move this rehearsal from this area to this area. Or sometimes, hey, we had to cancel this rehearsal. And we do that in plenty of time to get all the information out. So, and that's one of the quickest ways to do it. If you don't have a texting plan, then obviously you won't be able to receive the text, or you'll have to pay for the text. So if you don't have a texting plan, don't sign up for that. But if you do, that is the quickest way that we can get vital information out about it. We use that on this past band trip that we just got off of. That was the primary way we got all itinerary information out and all information out to that. So as the year goes on, when your child figures out what band, or when they know what band they're going to be in, they can add those other groups. But right now, everyone in the band is a part of the marching band. So everyone can do that. Oh, and it is a one-way text. It is a one-way text, yeah. We send it out, we can't get responses back from that. It's just simple reminders.
And so you can't text back. Everybody get a group text before, and everybody, that doesn't happen. There's two people that can send a text out, and that's me and Mr. Schultz. And again, it's set up for schools and teachers. And a prime example, especially with all you guys having rookies, is we're coming back from the Panama City Arnold game, was the last game of the season, and we're saying we're going to be home at 11:30, but the game goes into overtime and get delayed. Then I can send a text out in MHS March to all of you that are subscribed and say, new arrival time, game delayed, new arrival time, 12 midnight. And that way you're not sitting up here for 30 minutes in the park. Okay? So that's the way that we utilize it, or bad weather coming through, practice has been moved, or postponed, or canceled, or something like that. Okay? But we won't drive you nuts with texts. Yeah, and she had a finance question. If you got more, a lot of us have more than one in the band, and if you do, you can write one check. Just notate at the bottom how much that helps her. The more information, okay? All right, guys, let's move on. Thank you, Mr. Schultz, for that. Let's move on. You see the next after Charm's office. If you look at page 9 here real quick, the expectations. This is just pretty much the rules of what we ask of the students. We will go over these some point here at band camp, or once the school year starts. But what we expect, you see I've bolded a few: respect for directors, the band staff, the leadership, and each other. Respect's an important word that we use a lot of as well in everything they do. Self-discipline, self-control, and the bullet number 6 there in rehearsals. And in performances, always think about the image of the band. Guys, our performance starts from the time they arrive, like we're leaving for a football game, from the time they arrive to the time we get home. The bus ride is part of the performance. Everything we do is part of the performance from the time they step foot on this campus. We're going to a performance. Ask them to give 100% in every aspect of performance. On bus trips, we'll stay on top of that public display of affection. All they're allowed to do is hold hands. They can't lay on each other in the bus. And right now, we don't separate the buses unless they give us reason to think that we need to. And I'll tell you, even this past marching season, sometimes we got couples, and I'll say, guess what? You're on bus 2, you're on bus 3 now. Okay? They're in high school, there's a lot of trust that goes in to what we do with them. And We give them that trust until they give us a reason not to trust them. Okay, and at that point, if we get to the point we can't really trust them, we start talking about their future in our program, because we do a lot. Remember the image of the band while traveling. Number 14 on bus trips. Respect each other and yourself through both your actions and your words. We'll preach that a lot to them. In the band room, we expect them to take care of the facilities. This is our second home. A matter of fact, you'll find that before school, anytime during school, that they can get out of class, come to the band room, and after school, they're at the band room. And they get done with their assignment, they got 20 minutes left in class, an email pops up. Can Jimmy and Susie come to the band room? Yeah, sure, send them on. Okay? And we like that. This is a home away from home for them. Keep all valuables on you or locked safely in your locker. Something's going to disappear. It always does. It's usually not tremendously bad. But Mr. Weaver, this is missing out of my locker. My first question is there a lock on your locker? No. And I'll say, why do you think they call it a locker? No, I didn't think about that. But anything valuable, they don't need to just leave laying around, okay? Most of our kids are trustworthy. We've had issues in the past 22 years, 21 years, where we'll have a series where things start missing, and usually we'll pinpoint, find that person, and beat them up, and break their legs, and kick them out in the street, and all that kind of stuff. But just if you'll encourage them to get locks for their lockers, that helps. Yeah, we do have cameras in the building. They just added those this past week and outside the parking lot. In general, again, we expect them to attend all rehearsals and performances. Bullet number 1. You see the phone number for the band room there. Please let us know in advance. They need to respect each other. Bullet number 3, and themselves through their actions and their words. Bullet number 5, maintain good grade point average. A 2.0 GPA. We expect higher. Matter of fact, about 4 years ago, we checked, was putting the data together, and our band had about a 3.4 average GPA. We've got some of the smartest kids in the school, okay? Lots of honor graduates, lots of kids that take dual enrollment and AP honors classes and so forth. Some kids in the band, the only class they have on this campus is band, and they take the rest at Pensacola State, okay? And they'll graduate with their associate's degree before they do their high school diploma, and so forth. Success breeds success. That's what, surround yourself with high-quality people. So we expect a 2.0 GPA, but what that means, they're going to have the self-discipline. Marching season is going to wear on them a little bit, but they're going to have to, there's time before we start rehearsal in the evenings for them to do homework and so forth. And if you'll help us with that, we'll preach that a lot to them. They've got to take care of their school responsibility, but they also have to learn time management, just like any other group on campus. So with that 2.0 GPA, if they fall below that, they're not allowed to perform until they get their cumulative GPA back up above 2.0. Okay, they're not allowed to do anything with us after school. They'll go on a suspension status until they can get it back up. Okay, any kind of problems with the law, any kind of image infractions outside can result in them being dismissed from the band program. They get arrested, see ya. Okay, it's all about image, it's all about kids we can trust, and so forth. And I understand there are situations that happen, and we kind of judge the situation according to that circumstance. Good rule of thumb, we tell them if they don't think that myself, Ms. Schultz, or the Milton High School Administration would approve of it, don't do it. Okay? But that's sort of what we expect of them, along with several other things that are great for bedtime reading. You flip the page, you'll see some of the consequences that we make them do. A lot of this is physical, especially your marching season. Why? Because marching band, as you can tell from your rookie coming home, is a physical activity. It's a sport, believe it or not. It's not only are those kids going to be running around the field for the halftime show, they're going to be lugging heavy equipment, some of them, keeping their arms up, having to huff and puff and breathe and play that instrument while they're moving around the field. So some of our consequences when breaking rules is a running and marching around the track, push-ups, that type of stuff. As you can see right there, wall squats, planks, 50-yard toe jams, working on the marching, the running, the suicides, which they do as conditioning right now. They did today, right? Yeah. Pride block, and then sometimes we get them running assignments and so forth. The next few pages, I'm just going to kind of let you glance through them. This is just a breakdown of who we are, what we do, such as what football games are, marching contests, parades. You can see we do all varsity football games. Even when the team travels, playoffs and all that, we attend. We do the homecoming parade, the Santa Rosa County Veterans Day parade, and the Milton Christmas parade, are the 3 parades that we participate in each year. Concert band festival, just like a middle school band. In the springtime and the first week of March, we have concert band festival, which all 3 concert bands participate in. We give a Christmas concert right in December. We give a spring concert usually in late April, early May. We have honor bands our kids participate in. You see that information. Attendance policies on the bottom of page 12. We went over that earlier. Again, please notify us and then take care of the appropriate paperwork. And if you'll notice, there's a wood box right in front of our office door right there. That's our drop box. Yeah, thank you for pointing that out. That is our drop box. Those absence appeal forms are always located in the front. There's also deposit envelopes that we ask if they bring in a check or cash. They fill the envelope, asks for name, grade. It asks, they can mark what kind of payment it is, how much it is, the check number. If it's cash, it asks, was receipt given? Again, if they go to put anything in that box that's cash, they need to come in the band office first. We will verify the cash, we'll write them a handwritten receipt, and then have them deposit their envelope in the box. But the attendance forms are also located right there. If you flip the page, you'll see rehearsal sectionals. We talked about when we have full band rehearsals, I'll go over that, we get to our main schedule a little bit. About football games, understand the football game may get rained out. That's happened about twice in my 21 years here, when they moved it to Monday night, which was awful. But if it's a rain out, we expect it to be at the rain out, or the makeup game. Parades, other performances, all this stuff is tied to their grades. Festival competitions, everything's tied to the grades. Now, look at the bottom of 14. Let me explain this to you. Our rehearsal time for marching band is 6 to 9:30. Now, there's a couple of reasons that it's at 6. Number one is that we share the practice field with the football team, who goes usually till about 6 or 6:30. Now, in the old days, before they put lights on the practice field, the band practiced in the heat right after school. The band really never performs during the daytime, but we always practiced in the daytime. A few years ago, about 10, 12 years ago, they put lights on the practice field. So we practice at night. It's cooler. Football team gets done about 6, 6:30. We meet at 6. If they're not off the field, we go outside on the track and start playing, and that usually runs them off. And usually about 6:30, they're gone. We're warmed up, and we take the field. Our rehearsals usually are 6 to 9:30 at night. I know you go, oh my gosh, 9:30. Understand, high school does not start back up until 9:15 the next morning. So it would be the same thing if school started at 7, us practicing till about 7 o'clock at night. All right, so they'll still have a little less than 12 hours to go home, finish, take care of homework, shower, and so forth. But understand this, that usually on Mondays and Tuesdays, beginning of the season, we'll go 6 to 9:30, nighttime rehearsals right out here at the practice field. Okay? The band room will lock up after school. Why? Because that's about 2.5 hours where we can take care of our personal business, because we don't have a lot of free time as directors. We can take care of business getting ready for rehearsal that night. Usually about 30 to 45 minutes before rehearsal, we open the band room back up. And does that mean the students can't stay? Absolutely not. But they need to have your permission. We've got picnic tables. A lot of them will sit out here and do homework. A lot of them will walk to Whataburger, Subway across the street, Taco Town, get them something to eat, and so forth. But usually for about 45 minutes or so before rehearsal, we're back up here. We open the band room back up, let them in. When we have Thursday afternoon rehearsals at 4 o'clock, the band room stays open. It's only 40 minutes after school gets out. The band room stays open. On Friday, football game, performance days, with the exception of the day of homecoming parade, because we get done about 11:30 and school is out the rest of the day. Every football game day, we'll have an adult come sit here and the band room will stay open on Fridays. Because usually a lot of those Fridays for home football games, we have pep rallies in the gym where, you know, the bell rings, the kids take off of the buses, the band has to come put up their instruments. Okay, and we usually start back about 5:45 or 6 o'clock with our pregame preparations for the football game. So prior to, if it's 2 or 3 hours after school, with the exception of football games, we lock the band room. If it's 45 minutes to an hour, the band room stays open. Does that make sense? More importantly, after rehearsals, we practice until 9:30. Now what that means is about 9:20, 9:15, we start wrapping up rehearsal, we start doing a final run or two. That means about 9:25 to 9:27, we're on the track giving announcements. Okay? And about 9:30, you'll hear them going, prime, prime. We're doing our big dismissal thing. What that means is, if I were you, and I'm a band parent, I have 2 in the band this year, give them till about 9:40, 9:45 before you're ready to pick them up. Why? Because they're gonna have to walk in, they're gonna have to put their instruments up, they're gonna have to talk to their friends. You know how that feels. They've only spent 3 hours with them, okay? And then sometimes sections, our flute section, our percussion, need to meet, the color guard with their staff, or percussion with their staff, and go over a few announcements. Guys, you need to work on this. Guys, don't forget to bring money for a t-shirt. Guys, don't forget, we're gonna eat lunch, or gonna eat dinner together before the game Friday night. They need to have their little announcement time. Sometimes, the section is serving a punishment. They're having to stand at attention for 5 minutes, because the section couldn't stay still while we're at attention and weren't supposed to be moving, okay? So if it says 9:30, if you'll just understand that about 9:45, 9:45 would be a good time to take them home. Okay, you follow me? Because every year I get 1 or 2 parents in here yelling at me going, it's supposed to end at 9:30. And I said, yeah, we end up there at 9:30. Your child, it's going to take your child a little time to come in. Okay, and I know it's late, but trust me, it's going to fly by. Before you know it, we'll be done with those practices. Okay, flip the page. Band uniforms. You want to grab one real quick? There are certain parts, and this is the only way we've been able to make this work. A few years ago, we outgrew our black and gold uniforms, and we were kind of up a creek. We had to have a lot more uniforms quickly, and so we moved to an easier wash and wear uniform. We went to an all-black uniform that looks, to me, just looks meaner on the field. That's what we're after. And but what we also have done over the years is we've asked students to purchase for their 4 years a certain part of the uniform, and this is a fee that you, being a rookie parent, that you'll absorb this year, not that one. Okay? That's our Bumblebee uniform. Some of you guys may remember those. But we've asked our parents to purchase part, and the band parents purchased the other part. What you'll see here is the black jacket and the sash. The Band Parent Association provides that. Thank you, good job. Along with some gauntlets for the students. But we'll ask that the students purchase the other parts. Number 1, they're black Bibber pants. You bringing those black Bibber pants out? Come on, man. You gotta do better. But those are like the overall looking pants they wear underneath the coat. They're kind of high overall pants, because when they're moving, they look like this. And you can see this will be billed out through Charms. Those are $45. So those will last some of them all 4 years. Some of them will outgrow them by the end of their freshman year. Okay? Sometimes kids trade out. Somebody graduated from the band that may be the same size. You can talk to them about that. They also, we moved to a shiny gold. Come on, Vanna. To a shiny gold regimental helmet a few years back. We wanted lots of bling while we were on the field. What we learned is that the hardest thing we were getting students to return was their helmet. Many of them wanted it as a souvenir. Okay? We were also afraid that if we owned it, it'd get kicked across the parking lot at a football game, and they wouldn't take good care of them, it'd get scratched and so forth. So they purchased their helmet. You can see it's $64, and their ostrich plume that goes on top, $28. Okay? Yeah, this is theirs to keep when they graduate. Band shoes, we don't want to reuse old shoes. Okay, we order those from Bando Shoes. You can order them online, but we'll size them and order the first round. They're $23. Thank you, Vanna. And the last thing, the first few games, and sometimes for like homecoming parade and such, we wear what's called a summer uniform. Okay, because we don't want to put it. We live in Florida, and so it's a polo shirt. They wear black shorts that you purchase. Good job, Vanna. It usually has their name and their instrument. Okay, and it has the band logo on it. And so that they all look the same, they look professional, they tuck those in. We'll order each one of them a polo shirt with their name and their instrument. You can see that's $35. The total uniform charge, $195. Okay? Look right below that, you'll see uniform care. And then what that tells you is the black jackets, they are wash and wear. There's a certain way to take care of them. And that tells you how to take care of them. Anything else you want to say about the band uniforms, Mr. Schultz?
The t-shirt.
Yeah, we have a band t-shirt as well that we'll sell, the halftime show shirt. It's a black t-shirt that they wear underneath their black jacket. So if they're wearing red or something, you can see it right here. But that way in the stands, when we take that off, that's part of their band fee. It's not part of the uniform fee. Everybody in the band gets one of those, returning members. We'll also allow parents to buy those. Nobody's wearing them, are they? Returning, okay. But we'll sell 200 to parents usually. But it'll have the halftime show theme on the back, usually some kind of picture that goes along. That's part of their fair share fee. So any questions about the uniform fee? $195, again, all the fundraisers we do, 100% of the profit. For example, cookie dough is a 40% profit. If you sold a $10 item, they made $4. That goes directly towards their uniform fee, their fair share fee. Okay? They're taking, tomorrow or Thursday, if they need replacement parts, yeah, this Thursday.
Shoes, I'll probably wait till this.
Okay, and some for shoes.
Because those come in from Atlanta, those take 1 day. The rest of it takes.
We call it everything. Now, flip the page. This is the biggie. This is the band budget. We asked the band, what does Take Minutes Marching Band go? And they all yell pride. Now, I'll tell you, it takes 6 school buses, 4 charter buses, okay, we're going charter, 2 equipment trucks, and a whole lot of money. All right? As you can see, if you look at the next 2 pages, our marching band budget, for the marching band, just a little portion of concert season, is $79,400. That's what it takes to make the marching band go. As I shared with you, we get a little bit of money from the school for instrument and instrument repair, about that $8,000. It doesn't cover any of this stuff. Okay? You can look transportation alone this year with 200, based on about 200 in the van, because it's going to kind of fluctuate up and down. We're looking at over $21,000. All right? You notice that we are taking charter buses to Biloxi High School to march competition. We did that 2 years ago. We went over there. We were doing it last year. It got rained out. That's because it's a double show. The first year we went, we did an afternoon performance for festival ratings, and it was 126 on the field on the AstroTurf. Thank goodness they were going around telling the other bands to get inside the school. We had charter buses we put our band back up on. They got on the charter buses and cooled down and relaxed and kind of got renourished, and we had pickles and Gatorade and all that stuff for them. Right? Pickles, buckets of pickles from Firehouse. Notice as well, Panama City Arnold, we're planning to take charter buses to that. Why? We're probably going to have to leave school about 1:30 or 2. Right now we're using school teachers and coaches are helping to drive the 6 school buses that we go. It's going to be hard because the bus drivers themselves, I don't know that the bus barn has enough buses for us in football, I'll believe at 1:30, 2 o'clock. It was not that much more expensive, and so we're going to take charter buses there. You can see the next category of stuff. That's all transportation. The next one, membership registration fees. It costs us to do what we do. It costs us to be part of Florida Bandmasters Association, for us to participate in the FBA events. And so that's all the stuff that we do there, all county honor band. A lot of our wind players and pressures try out for all county. We have to pay for that. Uniform expenses. The show theme shirts, you see $10 there. We have to do repairs and alterations uniforms, replacing buttons, sewing in new zippers and so forth. Social activities. I told you we work hard, we play hard. Look at social activities. We'll spend $20,000 playing hard with the band. And what the kids are going to tell you, the returning members will tell you, their most memorable experiences are from these play hard things that we do. We're going to do a band lock-in right before we start band camp this summer. The band lock-in, lock-out is really what it is. We'll start here in our gymnasium. We'll do group games from about 7 o'clock until probably about 9:30. Relay races. We'll have jock jams, stadium jams, just to pump it. And they're running up and down and screaming and popping balloons and all these relay races. Then we'll put them on buses. We'll haul them to CC's Pizza. We used to go in Pea Ridge, but that one closed. So last year we went and had to go all the way to Pensacola. We'll feed them a pizza buffet about 10 o'clock at night. All they can eat, 200 of them this year. They'll be lined up all the way to Cordova Mall. Okay? Buses. We'll leave there. We'll go to Dreamland Skate Center. Okay? They'll skate. That's funny. Okay? Most of them haven't skated since middle school, maybe even elementary school. We'll do Dreamland for a couple hours. We'll take from there to Oops Alley. They'll bowl from about 2 o'clock to about 4 o'clock in the morning. And what this is, it's a mixture. Matter of fact, they don't choose who they bowl with. We choose. We'll get down the list and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1 through 24, and then we start over again. And so they're bowling with other students they don't know from the band. Okay? And then about 4 o'clock in the morning, we'll take them to UWF swimming pool and we'll put them in the pool and wake them back up again. Because usually on the bus ride after that, it starts getting real quiet. And they get that cold water at UWF and they're wide awake. That's an example of that. Each day we go to marching competitions. We meet up here in the mornings. We warm them up on the field, go through a nice slow warm-up stretch because we've always had a Friday night football game the night before. They're a little fatigued, their chops are fatigued. And then usually we'll feed them. Sometimes we feed them right back here at the Band Playing Association. Matter of fact, this year, last couple of years, did hamburgers and hot dogs for them. We've done Firehouse Subs on our way to Biloxi before, lunch boxes for them. We've done pizza for them, but we'll feed the band. When we go away to these marching competitions, as they get on the buses, we give them snack packs, Gatorade. We'll have sweet and salty snacks, peanut, or, roasted peanuts, salty peanuts, granola bars, that kind of stuff, candy for the bus trip. Especially when we go to Biloxi, we give it to them after the first performance to kind of get them pumped back up and get a little nutrition back in, all right? Football games, we give them canned drinks after the game. Those are expensive, we have to pay for those. It takes a lot of drinks for 200 people every time we perform. We do a Christmas party. We do a big band banquet in the gym at the end of the school year. You can see that adds up. Flip it over, look at what it costs us for the marching band. We pay to have our music written. It's always written for the Milton Band. Nobody else do anything like it. We pay to have our halftime show drill design made by one of the top guys in the country, Randy Nelson. Okay, he writes for a lot of the Winter Guard National and drum corps. Stand music, we try to purchase new stand music. Competition fees. Uniform accessories. We mentioned we want the band to twinkle this year. At the end of the show, I want them to sparkle. So it's going to cost money, just like it costs money to do that big black flyover we did last year. It cost us about $1,500 to make. That was $1,500 material. The label was free. Okay? So we've got money set aside. Our flags that go along with the halftime show. Our camp support staff. I get paid to be here in the summer. Mr. Schultz Dutton, he's one of the hardest workers in the summer. We also bring in other band directors to the 2-week camp so that we have about 7 or 8 people on the field setting drill so we can get farther along so that we're set up for success. Percussion guard and wind technicians, they work for 5 months for the marching band. That's the helpers that we bring in. Why? Because the percussion and color guard are judged with the band, but also judged separately from the band. And their ratings, just like when we go to Choctawhatchee for the competition there, will influence if we come in first place, second place, third place, 10th place, 15th place, okay? And then various expenses. For example, this white ice chest that we bought 2 years ago. We found out leaks. You see the wet spot right over there in front of the microwave. We left it in here after this weekend, it leaks. So we're constantly having to buy water coolers, ice chest. Concert bands, we put that in there. The color guard doesn't pay towards that, but all the winds and percussion do. $1,000 just for us to go for Walton Beach High School with 5 buses, 3 concert bands in March. So you break all that down, $79,400. What does that mean? The fair share for this year is actually a little down. We were able to trim some stuff out. It's $410 each, okay, for those that are tier 1, the ones that volunteer for 3 or more events. Okay? If you don't, you're on tier 2, it's $510. If you say, no, not volunteering, just going to write you a check, it's $510. Do the 3 events, it's $410. Now, you add that to the $195, that's $605 is what it's going to cost the freshman year. The good news, sophomore year, you won't have to pay the $195. Okay? Everybody follow me? Questions on that? Now, look right below that. We have one other fee. If your child plays a school-owned instrument, a baritone, tuba, French horn, a low reed that the school owns, okay? We started this last year. Or in percussion, yes. We have to, percussion, for example, we have to buy more drum heads. We buy mallets for the mallet percussion. We have to get the tuba maintenance service. We send one tuba off, for example, to have it cleaned. It's going to cost us about $175 just to have it cleaned and maintained if there's no repair that has to be done. So the maintenance fee is just a small attempt to build up a little fund to help maintain our instruments and to help replace things that be replaced. All right? And that's only for those folks. Now, flip the page, look at page 18. And I know you're getting tired. About 20 more minutes. There's cookies, Jeff. If your sugar gets low, there's cookies. Look at the next page. Page 18. Important page. Here's kind of a fee schedule, what we're asking you to do. And we put this out back in May, we met with them. To secure their spot in the halftime show, they need to have $50 turned in by this Thursday. Or, if you sold about $130 worth of cookie dough, that profit covers the $50. Does that make sense to you? So that kind of secures their spot for the halftime show. Notice, I've got a new members breakdown, $100 by July 17th. That helps with all the lock-in, that helps with the camp staff. Uniform fee, August 14th to $75. Fair share payment number 3, $100 by August 31st. The uniform fee number 2, $75 by September 12th. Notice I've tried to scatter it out for you. You know, if you want to write a check or pay on credit card from the get-go, we're all in favor, okay? But you'll see I broke everything down there for you. Everything, except that last $100, if you choose not to volunteer, everything, fair share payment number 5, which is all the fair share fees and uniform fees, due by October 30th. That is right, that's the day of our next to last football game, okay? And then a school and instrument fee, we don't charge it out in January because it takes effect at the end of the school year. We start to get things serviced. And again, if you don't do the volunteer thing, that last $100 is due by April 22nd, okay? Now, yeah, and I hate, we'll work with people the best we can, but what we can't have is folks that don't pay their fees or don't fundraise their fees. We'll work with you the best we can. We know there's situations that are going to occur, but we've got to see folks working to pay their fees, or you'll notice there's some deadlines, okay? Matter of fact, Milton High School says this, that if a uniform's not paid for or a t-shirt's not paid for, we're not supposed to give it to them. Now, I'll tell you, that's school board policy. We break that policy all the time. Okay, but we've got to make sure that we're staying on top of fees. And that's the part of my job I hate the most is the money side. Okay, if I won the lottery, we wouldn't have band fees. We'd take every kid that can be here. But the truth of the matter is, we have to pay the bills. And our jobs are in jeopardy if the band goes in the hole, we can't pay the bills. Okay, so please understand, that's why we call it fair share. Now, look at page 19. If you have difficulty with fee payments, we do have a process. Both parents have been laid off. You come see me, we have a form you fill out, and pretty much it's saying, I know this is due by this time, but, we're both laid off, and I'll have you $50 by this amount. As long as I can see everybody's making that effort, and we'll work with everybody. Does that make sense? But we get to October, and this kid paid $50, and we haven't seen the other $400 or $500, well, then we have to start going, we can't participate, okay? And again, fundraisers. Speaking of fundraisers, we talked about the volunteer incentive. Look at the bottom. Cookie dough is due tonight. We kicked it off with our Tuesday, Thursday night rehearsals. We've got a car wash-a-thon, okay, which will begin in June. As a matter of fact, the big event is Saturday, July 11th. It is on the summer calendars that we distribute. What is that? A car wash-a-thon is a great way to make money if you work it. What we ask, and we're going to put these forms out later this week. We have some good locations. Yeah, it's been a real hectic end of the school year with our band trip. Just being last week, wasn't it? Well, our band trip last week in the Smoky Mountains. It's a pledge-a-thon. We ask students to go out and get pledges. We have 5 locations on that Saturday set up in Milton. We ask all the kids to work that Saturday. If a kid's out of town, we'll work with them on that. But we set up 5 locations. We do a free car wash. We've done it the last 2 years, and what has happened is we've washed, over that 4 or 5 hour span of time, we've washed about 220 cars in a free car wash. So we're making Milton look better, look cleaner. Let's say that your child went out and they got $1, they got 7 cents from Uncle Charlie, they got 5 cents from Aunt Betty, they got this amount, they got $1 in pledges. That's $220 of free money just for washing cars for 4 hours. We could take the band out and do 5 locations, and this location would wash 50 cars and make $100, and those 20 kids would make $5 each. But we learned the pledge. We had a young lady 2 years ago make $420 at the car wash-a-thon because she got out and she got some pledges. And what you do, Uncle Charlie, the band's doing a car wash-a-thon. We want you to pledge somewhere between 1 and 10 cents. And look, the most that we'll wash is 300. We give them a maximum number. It hadn't been anywhere near that 300. But if we wash 300, you pledge 5 cents. Uncle Charlie, that's $15. And you can bring you and Aunt Susie's car out and get them washed for $15, and you're going to help me. Does that make sense to you? It's the power of numbers, all right? So we've got that. Coca-Cola truckload sale. We're going to kick that off. We can return back in July. Talk to Daryl deal with Coca-Cola today. We're selling the 16-ounce bottle drinks like you pay $1.49 for at the Tom Thumb. And it's $24 for a case of them, $24 a case. So you're paying $1 a piece. The students make $6 a case. Okay? They'll be delivered the next to last day of band camp. And Coca-Cola pull up that Wednesday afternoon. Hopefully it doesn't rain because the band was going to be full of Cokes that Wednesday night after band camp. We're going to ask everybody to pick their Coca-Colas up. Okay? We'll be doing that. The boosters have set up a mass garage sale Saturday, August 1st. That's the Saturday after we finish band camp. It's gonna take place in the cafeteria. Why? Because it's air conditioned. You got garage sale items that you wanna get rid of? We're gonna do a mass garage sale. You get up with the Band Parent Association next month, and as they're setting this thing up, you bring your stuff, you set your table up, you make $200, we'll you'll collect the money, and you can turn right around for you leave that night and go, "I'll put $200 in my child's account." And we'll accept that. Does that make sense? We're trying to help you the most we can. Turvis tumblers. We did those a couple years ago. We're gonna try to do a Milton High School centennial anniversary, 100th anniversary Turvis tumbler this year. I think we sold those for $20, and we made $6 each on those. Okay? Yankee candles will begin in early October. Florida Indian River Grove Citrus, that's oranges and grapefruits, one of our biggest fundraisers. And we've been doing it for about 15 years probably. Now, Honey Baked Ham gift cards, you see we do that. Kitchen knife, we do the Rada Cutlery fundraiser as well. Okay? That's some of the ones just for the fall. We'll do some others as we hit the spring. If you work the fundraisers, combination of fundraising profit and payments, it'll help with the band fee, I promise you. Okay? Flip the page, let me talk to you about the spring band trip. I feel like a bad guy. I always feel like a bad guy. Am I the bad guy? Yeah. We just got off our spring band trip last week. We took the band to Atlanta and the Smoky Mountains. Our band takes a trip every year as a reward to our kids, to expose our kids to other areas of the country. It's something I inherited, except for one year that I recall we have taken